Before any of these games existed, there were books. Like this. This is Bogeys, Boils and Bellybuttons by Jim and Duncan Eldridge, illustrated by Graham Round and first published in 1986. My copy is a reprint by Red Fox. Yeah, this collection of revolting facts to make your skin crawl was reprinted at least 4 times. I got this book when I was your age, and it was as disgusting then as it still is today. There are stories about farts, burps, sneezes, hairy ears, acne, tapeworms, filthy toenails, filthy ties, and of course, bogeys. Here's one of the stories. Drink, most disgusting. A man in a pub in Warwickshire boasted that he could drink anything. The other people in the pub were so fed up with his boasting that one of them blew a noseful of snot into a pint glass and offered it to the boaster. "Here," he said, "drink this." The boaster looked a bit sick, but as everyone was watching him, he took the glass and started to gulp down its contents. He completely emptied the glass. "Ugh," said the man who had challenged him. "You made your point with the first sip. There was no need to drink it all." "I didn't have any choice," said the boaster. "It was all in one lump." I don't know what to say about this. The stories vary between jokes like that one and stories that are just disgusting. They're pretty good for reading aloud to your grown-ups, though. You know, because they have to encourage you to read, so you can torture them with something awful to listen to. The other thing I love about this book is that it was clearly written by 2 people who absolutely loved making each other laugh and being grossed out. I contacted Jim Eldridge, who had this to say about the book.
Duncan and I shared the same kind of sense of humour. To say, Duncan is my son, which was fairly anarchistic. Because there were various things in that book that a lot of people objected to. What we were trying to do was really make it hideous and all that, because let's put it this way, as a comedy writer, if you want to make people laugh, put a fart in. Because it's with kids. The idea, because it's not the done thing, and you put it in. And another book that I did later was called Disgusting Dave and the Farting Dog. And I was really pleased. I pitched this to Hodder and Stoughton, one of the most oldest and sedate publishers, with that title. And they said, "Kids will love this." And I said, "Yes, they will. Anything that's got the word farting in the title." And that is the thing about Bogeys, Boils and Bellybuttons, that we put in, fluffing belly buttons, hairy as bum, and stuff like this, which kids would snigger over, giggle over, and sometimes their parents would say, "Why are you reading this disgusting thing?" But as you say, many parents bought it for their kids because they thought it would get them reading. Which it did. But the reaction did vary. I mean, it sold hugely, and it was great. But there were many who wanted it banned. And the idea for me, I thought it was interesting that Duncan, at the age of 15, was a banned author. But we just got on with it. That was it. So Bogeys, Boils and Bellybuttons was such fun.
Many thanks to Jim Eldridge. I'll post the full interview on my second channel, and Jim's website is in the description. And while we're thinking about it, make sure to like and subscribe to Mr. O. This is Bogey Bungee, which invites you to nosedive into the fun. Flick the spinner, pop on your dripping bogey nose and start the bogey bowl spinning. You have to collect 5 of your own boogers to win. Unlike the others, this one actually asks you to do something. Aim, judge distance, control force. And you're not just waiting to get surprised or hit by something. But I can't say it's a very good game. It's really hard to pick up anything from the bowl as it spins, and Actually, these polystyrene things are really bad for the environment. We had more fun just using the bogeys like catapults. They work really well because they're stretchy and sticky, which made me wonder, are there any useful lessons in these games? This is Mad Libs, Booger Madness, which is somewhere in between a book, a game, and an English lesson. Very much like this channel. Like and subscribe. To play, you look at this first sheet and write down words according to their description, such as adjective, verb, plural noun, exclamation, and so on. You do this without looking at the story underneath. This is important. Then you read aloud the story, placing your words into the spaces. It's normally pretty funny. Here's mine. I chose booger for the silly word, grandpa for someone I know, squashy for an adjective, body blasting for a verb ending with ing, and goodness gracious me for an exclamation. Let's see how it sounds.
I'm Mr. O of Oh My Booger News, where I'm reporting live from Kemp Town with today's top story. Meet Grandpa. After picking his armpit for the last 54 hours, this squashy town hero is just seconds away from body blasting the record for the world's biggest booger. For this booger to be the world's biggest, it must measure at least 504 inches wide and weigh in at over 3 chickens. Wait. This just in. The booger is out. From what we can see, it's an odd mix of purple and green, but is it large enough to trouser trumpet the record? Let's get a closer look. With the booger weighing in at 15 Easter eggs, the record has been broken. Goodness gracious me. That is one jam-filled nose nugget. Grandpa reports feeling like a weight has been lifted off his ears, more like lifted out of his nose, am I right? Now, over to Carol with tomorrow's weather forecast. Are we still recording?
Well, you get the idea with that. I love Mad Libs. Even as a grown-up, they're hilarious. My only comment would be that the prompts sometimes need more detail, otherwise they don't make sense. For example, jam-filled is a good adjective, but really we needed an adjective of size, like huge or humongous. I think they could add this detail without spoiling the story. Oh, also the pad is a bit annoying because the prompts are just above the story, so it's hard not to peek. Why can't they be back to back? Anyway, so that you can get involved, here's another page of prompts. Pause now and write your words. Then I'll put the story at the end of the video so you can fit them in. Leave your stories as a comment. So, why is this fun? Honestly, trying to find deep meaning in bogey games is a bit like searching for bogeys up your nose. You can keep digging, but all you're gonna find are nose nuggets. And that's fine, because the silliness is the point. Kids laugh, you learn stuff, grown-ups pretend they don't find it funny. But if you want proper meaning, real science, don't worry. Next time, I'm going to play these with my professor friend, and they are going to explain what bogeys really are, why snotcher couldn't exist, and why your brain probably won't explode out the back of your head. Now, here's the song.
Sometimes one side, then the